Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm so excited you're here and gonna make this recipe with me. Today we're gonna make albondigas, and that is Mexican meatball soup. It's really good, really hearty. It's great on cold nights like this. It's been raining. So we are going to start off with making sure we register on rockingourdisabilities.com, either through the email, through the website, and other avenues of social media. Don't forget to send us your videos and photos. We'd love to see you guys cooking and having a good time. Also, be on the lookout. There's going to be a lot of events coming up. They have some sponsorships going on for their big Easter extravaganza that they always do. Tons of cool stuff happening, tons of new classes going on. So don't forget to check out the calendar. So first things first, let's make sure we have all of our ingredients. I also have some stuff already by the stove. We're going to need some olive oil, or you can use like whatever cooking oil that you like. I already have that by my stove in my pan. We're going to need to chop up an onion. So I got a nice good sized onion, just like we did in our last recipe. We're going to need to get some celery. Well, I'm going to be using some celery. I have parsley. I have mint. I have, what is this one? I have oregano. I have cilantro. I have carrots. I have my ground beef. I have eggs. I have, you're going to need some tomato sauce, some garlic. I'm going to be using chicken stock. You can also use beef stock if you'd like. Some rice, my big container of rice. Salt and pepper to taste, and if you want, cayenne pepper. So I'm going to chop up some of my ingredients and get them prepped, and then I'm going to get my meatballs prepped. So I'm going to kind of organize my space and kind of get myself in a good space for me to start working. And then I'm going to wash my hands really, really, really good, because especially if you're working with raw meat and you're not using gloves, and even if you use gloves, you really want to scrub your hands really good. I even clean my nails out really good so no bacteria gets underneath it. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to wash all of my ingredients, everything that needs washing. So like my carrots and all the different herbs and stuff, I'm going to wash them. And then I'm going to chop up my onion and my garlic and my carrots and get them prepped for when we put them in the pan. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a second. Now that I've washed all of my vegetables and my herbs and stuff that I'm going to be using, I'm going to peel my carrots. You kind of want to get that first layer that's been inside the dirt off, and it looks better, it tastes better, just to be safe. Even though like I wash mine with my the rough side, I have a vegetable sponge just to clean off my vegetables. But I'm still going to peel mine. You're welcome to do that as well. Just a quick little peel. Now I got a few smaller carrots. It says to use 2 carrots, but I got a few smaller ones because I'm going to use more of them. And I'm going to save the end pieces to feed to my bunny. So it says dual purposes for me. Or you can eat them. Eating them is good. Carrots are really good for your eyes. Peel those. And then I rinse mine off one more time, just to be safe. Okay, now I'm going to chop up my onion, and I'm going to stand to kind of do this because it's easier for me to put weight down. So I suggest if you're cutting your vegetables and stuff like that too, it's easier to stand up when you do it. For your onion, you want to make sure you have a good solid cutting board and a good sharp knife. And we're going to cut the ends off. Put that in my little trash pile. Don't want to get any little flaky parts in there. Okay, now I always take off the first layer, so it helps get off all the flaky parts too. Sometimes you got to take your knife to kind of get it started. But just the first layer of onion, get all the flaky parts. If there's any bruising, it'll take that off as well. Sometimes onions, when they get tossed around, they get a little bruised, and that's okay. The inside part's still good. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go rinse mine off real fast. All right, nice and clean. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to cut our onion one way and then cut it the opposite way. So I just go straight down. Make sure your fingers are out of the way, and I don't cut all the way down. I cut maybe, I don't know, 2/3 the way down or so. So I'm cutting it, keeping my fingers out of the way, going straight down. Okay. Now I'm gonna go the opposite direction. So it looks like I'm making a checkerboard. This will help when you're cooking your onions. It helps them cook evenly. So now I'm just gonna turn it on its side and cut evenly. And now look, already chopped for me. And they're all about the same size. Remember in our last video how we learned the word translucent? So they're like kind of see-through looking. That's what we're gonna do again with our onions this time. We're gonna make them translucent. All right, I'm gonna set the rest of the onion aside. Okay, now I'm going to chop up some garlic. I like lots and lots of garlic. You can put it, the recipe calls for 2 cloves, but you can always add more. Garlic is really good for you, helps build your immune system. I put garlic in just about everything I do. Okay, now you can do this with a jar too, but this is what I do. I have blade side out, and the other edge is facing me, the safe edge, and I'm gonna stamp it. Just a little quick stomp, and that squishes the garlic just enough so I can easily get it peeled. I'm gonna discard the little root end. Do that with the rest of them. Little stomp. Ooh, my onion is strong, I'm starting to tear up. Okay, and last but not least, build up our immune system. I add some more garlic. Make sure my boys are nice and healthy. Now I'm just going to give this a good chop. Remember, you always keep your fingers away from the sharp edge. Always cut away from you, never towards you. So when I chop down, I push out so it's away from me. And then I hold on to the top part of my blade and I just move the back part, and that helps me chop it up nice and pretty, nice and fine. All those rough pieces. Clean it off. Get it all nice and chopped up. So now I'm going to take my onions and I'm going to cook them first in my pot. If you're going to be using a crock pot, I suggest you cooking everything up until the meatballs first. I may transfer mine to a crock pot as well, since I have lots of boys to feed. And they're hungry all the time. But if you're going to do a regular pan, everything can just stay in the one pan. Plus, it's a little faster than the crock pot. The crock pot, you gotta wait for it to warm up. All right. now we're all ready. Hi guys. So I have my camera angled down so you can kind of see the pan again. So you're only gonna see like a part of my face. Sorry. But so I have my pan, and it's a good size soup pan. You want to make sure that you have a good size soup pan. They suggest 5 quarts or more, unless you're gonna do it in the crock pot. So I'm gonna show you where you would cook this up until your crock pot. There goes my dog. So what we want to do first is get our onions cooked. We're going to make them translucent. If you saw the last video, you saw how we did that. It's super easy to do, okay? So what we're going to do first is I'm going to turn my flame on to about medium heat. I'm going to take my cooking oil or my olive oil. I'm just going to do one or two big circles in the pan. You don't have to measure it out. You're just coating the pan. That's all you're doing. So just a little bit, you don't need a lot. Let that warm up for just 1 second. I'm gonna get my onions that we just chopped up. I'm gonna put those in. Ta-da. Now this takes about 5 minutes or so to kind of get cooked. If you have a strong onion, like I think mine is, because it was starting to make me tear up earlier, then you want to make sure that you wash your hands after you touch your onions. I think I'll be okay, because it will make you cry. Okay, so here I'm just getting them all kind of mixed together, coating them all. So you want to keep them moving so you don't burn them. Keep it all moving. And this is going to take about 5 minutes, okay? So they're kind of see-through-ish. You're still going to tell, obviously, it's an onion. But they're not going to look so bright white. They're going to look a little more transparent or see-through. That's what translucent means. But don't forget, keep them moving so they don't burn. After that, we're gonna put in our garlic and our other ingredients. I don't know if you can hear the sizzling, but I still have my onions going. I keep checking and stirring them so they don't get burnt. But while they're getting translucent, I'm gonna rough chop my vegetables I'm gonna put in now. Well, like in a second, not right now. That I'm gonna put in before I make my meatballs. So just a rough chop, okay? Get some space. There we go. So I always cut off the top. And then I would do about an inch or so, and an inch is about the same size as your thumb. About the same size. So I do about an inch. Cut it up. Now I'm gonna save these bottom pieces for my bunny, because he loves carrots. And cut off the top. Now you want your vegetables to kind of be about the same size so they'll cook through evenly and you won't get mushy vegetables and some of them hard, because that's no fun. I don't like mushy vegetables and you get a crunchy one, you're like, wait a minute, something's not right. Cut the top off. So they're all relatively about the same size. They're not going to be exact because it's a rough chop. So I didn't get like my measuring stick out and, you know, make sure they're exactly an inch. Save those pieces. Stir my onions. Okay, I'm also going to be putting celery in mine. It helps add more flavor. You're welcome to do the same. You don't have to. My boys, they don't like the taste of celery, but they like it in soup. So I guess I'll be making ants on a log later for myself. All right. Try to not make a huge mess. All right, so there's my carrots. For my celery, I'm gonna cut off both the end where it was on the root, that my discard pile, and the top where the leaves are. And then since I'm gonna be taking out my celery later, all I do is I kind of cut at an angle into 3 parts, because I will discard this. If you like the taste of celery and are gonna eat it and put it in your soup, then you wanna cut them to be the same size as your carrots. Stir my onions again. They're starting to look good. Nice and see-through. Put that there. Cut off the root. Put that in my discard pile. Chop it up diagonally in 3 places. This will be easier to grab. Plus it helps open up all the juices inside. So we can get all the flavor. All right. Save all this for later. Okay friends, my onions are just about done. You can see that they're no longer a bright white, but kind of a see-through-ish color. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's like kind of clear. That's when you know it's translucent. So now I'm going to add in my garlic. Not my other vegetables just yet, but my garlic. And that's going to take about a minute to cook that in. My other vegetables on top here. Stir that around really good so that it doesn't burn. You don't want things to burn. Oh, I love the smell of garlic. Oh yeah. All nice and stirred in. After we stir in our garlic and our onions, stir them all together, we're going to add in the other vegetables, which would be our carrots, and I'm going to use celery. If you want to do peas, you're welcome to. I know some people put potatoes in theirs. We like potatoes too. That's really good. And any other vegetables. If you're using peas, like the recipe says, that goes in at the end because they cook really, really fast, so they don't need a long time. It all mixed together. Okay, so my onions and my garlic are all nice and mixed together. Okay, now I'm going to add in my other vegetables. These are called root vegetables because they grow in the ground like a root. Ooh, runaway celery. Okay, now I'm going to add in my tomato paste. Turn my flame down. Be careful so it doesn't splash out on you because, you know, fire's hot. We don't want that to happen. Okay. Add your chicken stock. It says that you're going to need 4 quarts, which is 8 cups. 4 quarts, 8 cups. So I've already done all my measurements of my chicken stock. There we go. So 4 quarts, 8 cups. Bum, bum. Oh, it already smells so yummy. Oh my goodness. Stir that for a second. And then you're gonna need 1 quart, which is 4 cups of water. Okay. And then I'm gonna put the lid on mine. I put mine on a medium-low heat, so it's not like crazy boiling everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna let that simmer for a while, get all mixed together, and now let's go make our meatballs.